Live. All right. Hello, everybody. We've got a fun episode today. It's a unique little idea, and I think it's going to be awesome. So we're going to be reassigning Nen types to characters, specifically the main four. We'll start with the main four. And so we're going to roll a dice. Each number on the dice is assigned to a Nen category. And so we'll roll the dice for each of the main four characters, and we'll assign this new category to them. And then we'll explore what they would be like as this new category, what would change about them, and maybe even like come up with a new ability if we're feeling creative. Okay? That turned out fine.
Sounds like a plan, man. Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so I guess we should start with, I don't know, do you want to roll a dice for it?
All right. I think we should just choose a character because there's already going to be a lot of dice rolling.
Should we do with
All
Gon?
right, yeah, let's just start with Gon first.
He is
Our
the face
main
of
little
Hunter
dude.
after all.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Pika's
have
got the
the die.
die. Roll away. We're doing clockwise in the chart. So 1 is enhancer and 6 is emitter. Wow, that one.
Here, I'll just flash an image on the screen to show you what we
Yeah.
mean.
Who's throwing the dice?
I am. I have
Alright.
the die. All right, just a moment. Okay, we got a 1, so we're gonna have to re-roll.
I knew that was going to happen.
Oh
I was
my
going to
gosh.
call it, but I was just like, okay, I'll just wait.
Okay, we got a 5. So Gon is now
Ooh.
changing from an enhancer to a manipulator. Initial thoughts.
Okay.
So, let's pull up the wiki. My initial thoughts always go to like personality.
Yeah, so
I'm thinking about a main character manipulator. What would his goal change? Like, how would he act in the series? Like, would that change at all?
So just for an idea, according to Hisoka's personality Nen test, manipulators tend to be argumentative and logical. So if we changed Gon's personality in that very broad sense from simple to logical, or like more logical than he already was, go on, Koga.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I guess stubborn, and hot-headed, and he cools down a bit. Threw a bit of water on him.
All right.
Which is really interesting to think about because I feel like a lot of the crazy moments that we get in the story is because of his stubborn hot-headedness. Not in an emitter sense. Wow, I'm really struggling with that word today. Yeah, that's really interesting to think about. My mind is going to the Chimera Ant arc and all the high stress scenarios they were in there.
Ooh.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like
Okay.
Gon was actually pretty logical in like his own way when it came to dealing with Pito. Yeah, I don't know. What are
He
your guys'
was
thoughts?
pretty. How you say? He was logical for his own emotions. Sure. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, but I think when Hisoka meant logical, it meant like in a rational sense to the average person in a certain scenario, not just one's emotions. I mean, there's logical for Gon's emotions after seeing Pito murdering Kite, and then there's logical of following the plan with like Gon with him, Killua, and Bisky when going after Genthru and his
Yeah,
gang.
true.
Gon broke
Yep.
away from the plan, decided to fight Genthru one-on-one. He won, but that was after sacrificing one of his arms and severely damaging the other, which only was saved through Breath of Archangel.
okay.
Yeah, so
What do you think?
maybe we
about
would have got
this?
a more calculating Gon. Sorry, I was speaking over you. But yeah, I was just saying maybe we would have got a more calculating Gon, which would have been interesting.
Yeah, that would also have been interesting because it kind of takes away Killua's role as, the logical, rational, more calculated person between the two. Gon is like one that rushes in with a lot of emotion, well, with obviously Killua still has emotion, but Killua is the one that sticks more to the plan. Um, he doesn't rush into things unnecessarily. That's just how he was raised. So it would probably be less of a huge personality difference between the two, which definitely can affect certain scenarios, like in Great Island and York New, because Gon wanted to follow the Phantom Troop, for example, Nobunaga and Machi in the square or throughout downtown of York New. It also could lead to several things in Chimera. If Gon decided to not be that stubborn and decided not to use everything, maybe he wouldn't have had to go through that extreme Nen contract and essentially go into that coma state, which only Nanako would be able to revive him. He could have, kept his cool a bit more. But then again, manipulators seem to be argumentative. So maybe some things don't change in that aspect. If we're going solely based off this, it's a bit weird. Because maybe things will change, maybe things will not change.
Makes sense also if his manipulator, his like combat ways would be more like from afar, right? Also makes sense his personality is not as straightforward or like in your face kind of thing, like
Right.
like you were speaking.
My first thought is if Gon was a manipulator, people will say this forever, but he would probably have something to do with his fishing pole. Maybe maybe he could use it in a way that can manipulate a person's aura. Like he can scoop away aura, he can fish it away from them. Maybe like in an APR.
I like that.
Maybe
That's
like
cool.
in an APR sense, like he just tosses it, but then maybe like people say like, oh yeah, add Nen to it to make it a more powerful attack, or he can directly use it to maybe like manipulate someone, like maybe how Shalnark's Black Voice or Lumi's Needle does.
I like it.
This is just going off just speculation, just a hypothetical, you could say, but
at
that's
last
that's
we
my
get a
first
use for his fishing rod.
Yeah, good point.
I actually quite like that that scooping away the aura visual. Like he can like scoop away a certain radius of aura, no matter like how dense the aura is, he can take it away if he hits the right spot. So if somebody's using Ko and he like aims his rod right, he can like scoop away that bit of Ko and completely disarm them if he counting on his aim.
Yeah, that would also be a very good support role. So let's just say
that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
like let's say Gon and Killua were in a fight, an enemy was using Ko against them. Gon would be able to use his fishing rod to scoop away the aura in Ko, whether it's in a defensive or offensive form. And then Killua can just go in to just slap him, or just use Godspeed to just punch him a million times an hour. I mean, I think that would also make sense. That would actually be pretty cool because Gon as a person, like in his fighting style, it's more of a solo or like we do things my way or the highway, where it's because he doesn't really plan for anything. It's just you have to make everything on the fly, and based on how Gon is, he can be a bit unpredictable. So we might
he's got a bit of that fighting desire that Hisoka has, right?
Yeah,
when he wanted to fight Genthru like that, he wanted to kind of prove himself as a fighter.
I mean, he wanted to prove himself when he fought Hisoka in Heaven's Arena. You know what? A lot of people would have just done this. If Hisoka gave him their badge, they would have just honestly just took it and went to the next phase of the exam. What Gon did was he got the badge. He decided to train his ass off for a few months and fight Hisoka in Heaven's Arena just to give him the badge back, saying, I didn't need it. I just want to return the favor that you forced upon me. Our deal is now settled.
Oh, dude, I loved that moment. It's so great.
Yeah, that was a very good fight.
Yeah, I really like where this conversation ended up. I think that fishing rod ability is so cool. I love imagining what kind of scenes would pop up with that. And maybe like the Ko he steals away can be utilized in the rod somehow. Like it strengthens the shoe of the rod, like the shoe that he
Ooh,
can use onto the rod, and he can use it
interesting.
as like a bat or something.
A bat. You just bonk someone on
Yeah,
top of the head.
yeah, exactly.
That's a funny
Um,
thought.
yeah, I like that. So I think that pretty much covers Gone. Unless you guys had some other thoughts, we can move on.
No,
Yeah,
I
Gon
think
is a
that was good.
manipulator. Yeah, Gon is nowhere near a manipulator, so it's just a purely hypothetical. So I mean, of course, he can totally use something else with this kind of scenario. It could be infinite things. Maybe he just conjures a needle like Illumi if you really want to be that person. Uh,
I
but
I don't
I
think
realistically,
so.
I think he would have used his fishing rod, if not something else. But
Maybe controlling animals or something.
hmm, was
There's
Squall's
there's
ability with
there's
dogs?
something
Was
Yeah,
there.
something
Squall a
like Squala.
manipulator?
Pretty sure. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Well, but yeah, I mean, but then again, Squall, he didn't. He just chose domesticated dogs. So like, I mean, they're a good companion, but it wasn't really suited for the mafia life. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Manipulating
Oh, imagine this.
like
Okay, what if Gon was able to manipulate Nen beasts?
that was what I was thinking as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was actually a good idea. That would
Yeah.
be insane.
Interesting.
Like, imagine if you just brought like a Nen Beast army to fight. Like, maybe like instead of Gon doing the fighting, like he normally would, he would just go Junkin. Maybe he would have certain animals go after his opponent, or that would be an interesting spectacle to see. Like, it'd kind of be like Ponzu's bees, but to a much higher degree.
I would So I think Gon would still retain a lot of his go-getterness, I guess, his protagonist, main character syndrome. Um, so maybe his manipulator ability would be something that puts him as like the main force instead of like a supporter, and it would be like he can manipulate his own body to take on like characteristics of Nen Beast his fort or something.
That would be interesting.
Like we know that Illumi is able to manipulate his own body with the needles, so
True.
it's a manipulator skill. Yeah, I think that something like that would be cool as well.
I don't know the logistics behind that, and how it fully works, but yeah, that from what we've seen of Illumi, I agree. That does seem like a manipulator technique.
Yep.
With Gon's experience living in nature and with the wild, I don't think it would be too difficult for him to be able to manipulate himself to imagine. If we let's say we it's the same process of, let's say, conjuring something. It's just like having lots of experience with it. Um, it compared to a lot of other people, wouldn't be too difficult. But of course, I mean, like, there's the impossible Nimbies. Like, in a really 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 crazy scenario, let's just say, imagine with me. What if Gon was able to manipulate
All right.
himself to be like a royal guard, so he didn't have to go full Gonsan?
Yeah, like he I don't know how the ability would work. Like maybe he has to interact with a Nen Beast in some way. Like I'm thinking like the first thought is defeat them, but it's very combat centric. Maybe Gon would kind of shift his ability to be combat centric, but when I imagine him as like a kid or something, I feel like it'd just be interacting with nature to like gain their abilities.
True.
He does choose a combat ability, so with Jajunkan. So I guess he could end up with an ability like that, like you mentioned. So maybe he defeats an opponent like a Nen Beast, and then he can take on those characteristics in some way, like a one-time use or something, and he builds up like a collection of different characteristics, like the armadillo thing that he crushes. He can like manipulate his skin into like a big shell or something, like a big armor. Um,
Mm.
Something like that, and then maybe he takes on like some of Pito's features. I don't know. There's a
Yeah.
lot that you'd have to change about the story, but yeah, just things like that. Anyway, and you guys wanted to add anything extra?
Not that
Not
I know
really.
of, no. I mean, I think we could just move on to Killua next if you guys are up for it.
Yeah, let's do
Let's
it.
do it.
All right, then. Okay, I'm bringing back the
Roll the
whole.
dice, baby.
If we get a
What should
2, then
what should be a 2?
I will laugh and I will also be very upset.
Who's throwing?
Oh, thank God. Okay, it was a 1. Killua is now an enhancer.
Oh man.
We are getting very lucky
Um,
rolls.
I
For
can
initial
imagine
thoughts?
him. I can imagine him already like just being this buff, kind of like Silva, just going for it,
Oh, initial
Uh,
thoughts. Okay, so you know how able to manipulate his fingernails to go into those really sharp claws that
oh
are
yeah,
supposedly sharper than any knife on the planet. Imagine if he used that enhancement technique with Ko.
yep.
Like that's my
yeah, hot
initial
damn.
thought. That would be insane.
I
Like
bet he
just able
already
to.
does.
Yeah, but I mean, like it would
Makes
be.
sense.
But then again, he would be able to train more in it, so it'd have more
Oh
adaptations and
yeah,
properties than just the simple me
absolutely.
slice through your skin.
That would be his hot soup, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too.
oh
I think he'd probably focus on refining the assassin skills with enhancement. I think that's a pretty solid answer.
Yeah.
yeah. So I can just imagine him slicing someone and have like Omni Man. Like
Yeah, goddamn.
that would be very interesting to watch. But if that was the case, I think Hunter x Hunter as a whole would get a lot bloodier if Kilo did have that.
Bring it on. I'm here for it.
True.
Um,
Anything else?
okay,
Like,
what I well, let's think about what his character would be like as an enhancer. Um,
I don't think he would be
so
as calculated as he normally would, even with maybe like he would still be very calculated because just of his upbringing.
Mhm.
However, maybe he's just not as much. Maybe he won't have as much fears from Illumi's needle. Maybe like
yeah, it
because
depends.
of yeah, because Illumi's needle dictates a lot of his actions through the majority of the story until of course Chimera. So it's a bit weird because you have to think what was influenced by Illumi and what was not.
Mm.
Maybe he
So
would be more
Um,
straightforward with Illumi as well. Like he would straight up be like, "No, I'm not your bitch. Fuck off,"
it could
or
be that,
something like that.
or maybe he could just be more stubborn. Like I know, let's just use phase of the Hunter exam. It's going sorry, Killua versus Illumi. Illumi's saying, "You don't need friends. You just need to do your work." All right, Killua being the calculated person that he is, he's like, "I can't beat my brother, so you know what? I will just submit. It's not worth fighting. This is not a fight
yeah,
worth fighting for because he clearly has something on his side. I do not. Maybe if he was an enhancer, he would be more stubborn. Like he would still say no to his brother longer. Maybe in a very dramatic scenario, they would fight. Like
yeah. I think
I don't think
he
that
would.
would happen, but I think instead of
No, I think it
submitting
would.
after.
Him as an enhancer.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they would fight. If you think that, I don't think Illumi would kill Killua for obvious reasons, but
No.
um, it would be very interesting to see.
I think it would have
If that would.
escalated. A lot more of his situations would escalate into fights. For the Illumi example, it probably would have escalated into a fight where Illumi positioned himself to use the needle on Killua, and it like the outcome would be the same.
Right.
But I imagine Killua taking a lot more of that kind of protagonist energy, where they're like, "No, I'm gonna follow what I want in my heart. I'm not gonna question that." Like,
Yeah.
Killua does a lot. I think we'd get a lot more of that kind of
Yep.
energy. And I think his goals would probably change from necessarily like protecting Aluka and like going off away from the family. To maybe he would be so hard-headed about it that he would want to reform his family. So like take them on directly and then reform the Zoldycks to his own image.
Yeah, he
take
would.
So
on
like
take on the family.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, like
while in our universe, Killua wants to walk away from the family. Maybe in that alternate universe, he would directly challenge and go for power. Maybe there would be more of a power dynamic. Maybe Killua would be a lot more power hungry in this scenario. Like he just wants like, I will change my family, but I must become the
Yeah.
patriarch of the family, because with Silva
I'll
in
become
charge.
so strong.
Yeah, but so the thing with it is that Silva, Kikyo, Zeno, they all want Killua to actually be the heir to the business. So maybe it wouldn't be as extreme as we might initially think. Maybe they won't have to like directly fight him. Maybe it's just like just say to Kikyo and Silva, Mom, Dad, I've thought about it, and now I really want to become I want to lead this business. I want to lead this family. And you know what? Silva and Kikyo might be like, that is fantastic. We've always wanted that. So maybe
He
it
would
could be
clash
like that.
ideally with them. Like
No,
on
obviously,
ideals,
but I mean,
think.
like,
Yeah.
but I mean, like Kikyo, obviously, they would still try to beat it out of him. But I mean, if he's that stubborn, Kikyo has shown greatly that she and the others have great interest in Killua and great expectations of him. So they may be able to subside it, saying like, oh, it's just a phase, he's growing out of it. That's what Silva originally said to Kikyo when Killua was able to leave the manor to go meet with Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio in the butler's quarters. Silva said to Kikyo, oh, it's all right, I know he'll come back, he is my son after all.
I love that moment.
Of course you do.
Silver moment. Okay, well, that was awesome. I really loved how Killua turned out. That was really interesting. Okay, let's just jump to Kurapika then.
Very well then.
All right.
The holy
Conjurer to
Okay, so conjurer and specialist technically.
yeah.
So because he tuned in types in one, so we got a 4.
Well,
a
let's
4, which
stick
means
with-
specialist. So yeah, conjuration is primarily the thing. Is his primary Nen type because he has to use Emperor time to become a specialist. So we'll just say a conjuration.
True.
Funny enough, I got a 4, which is specialization.
I guess it
Okay,
would be
really
more interesting to try
Yeah.
some of the other ones.
Yeah. So, hey, at least there haven't been 2 manipulators or 3 enhancers.
So a more charismatic and aloof Kurapika is what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Like I imagine him embracing, like, you know how he's taken on that mob boss role like
Yeah.
later in the manga. I imagine he would have embraced that kind of role in the world much sooner as a specialist.
Crime syndicate leader. Yeah.
Yeah,
Crime
like,
Syndicate.
and he would be a lot more. I'm not sure brutal, but
He's already
I
very
guess-
brutal, Koga.
Yeah,
he's ruthless, especially when he gets angry. So I wouldn't particularly say he gets too much more brutal. Initially, what I think, without even diving into Nen abilities, maybe he, because of your idea of the crime syndicate, maybe he forms his own band of people, kind of like he does in the Succession
People
War.
drawn to him. Yeah.
Yeah, but it could be like an alternate Phantom Troop, something like that.
Yeah,
A
but
revenge
dude,
squad.
Dude, you're on it this episode. You're bringing it to the table.
Well, you're forgetting
yeah, that's
that-
totally what would happen.
You're forgetting who I am, Koga. I would know more than anyone.
I guess you have a point.
Besides the point, Revenge Squad, not even going into the Nen abilities, I think that would be a very interesting thing to see. Like, imagine instead of a 1 versus 13 or whatever it is, it would be like a 10 versus 13,
Yeah.
like a Revenge
He
Squad.
unites all of the victims of the Phantom Troop. like himself, and
Yeah,
brings them
but
together into a big group.
that would be interesting. However, I don't. They would have to specify how much potential the others, because essentially they'd have to find. He would have to find people that have the exact same drive as him. Someone that doesn't, hasn't given up. Someone that hasn't just tried to forget. Someone that hasn't killed themselves yet. So I mean,
I
those
Yeah.
people are. I mean, obviously the Phantom Troop has caused thousands of people to suffer, whether financially or physically, mentally, emotionally, etc. But I don't know, like, not there's very few people that have the exact kind of situation as him, and then again, it would require that personal drive and effort to dedicate your entire life to killing Crollo and the spiders.
Yeah, well,
I
I
don't know
guess
how
from
many people in the world, even including net hunters, have that kind of drive and dedication.
I guess it would just be like a writing thing. Like you just superimpose that as a writer. You make your own scenarios up.
Yeah, fair,
Oh, the
fair.
Phantom Troop like to kill lots of people. There's lots of scarred people. Let's go.
Let's go.
But yeah, I love that idea of Kurapika forming his own like counter troop. That's sick. I imagine like he takes on the hunter exam to kind of like Hisoka did. You know how
Yeah,
Hisoka's
to find
looking for strong
people.
fighters. Yeah, Kurapika kind of I feel like would be the same. Like they're looking for people who are strong to kind of join him for justice.
All
you
right.
know?
Now, let's just say if he kept the chains. All right, just bear with me. What if he called this revenge squad the Chain Gang?
chain game.
I'm on it like a carb on it. All right.
No, you lost it there. You
Oh,
slipped up.
I slipped up.
You were skating on ice. Yeah.
I see.
Oh, what was I gonna say? I completely lost my train of thought. I'll get it back.
All right.
Oh, his ability.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
would
Emperor
for the
time
sake
too.
of this discussion, let's say that he has a completely different ability.
Yeah. So no
It
chains.
can still be Scarlet Eye triggered, but no, completely different.
So it's not Emperor time. So it can't just be like, oh yeah, I have a proficiency boost. Something that's a specialist. Now, if this would be easier because let's say enhancement could just be like when the Scarlet Eyes trigger, I just punch 8 billion times harder. Like I can
Yeah.
cause an earthquake with a 7.6 on this Richter scale. But no, it's not like that. It's a specialist, which basically it's a Nen category that doesn't fit the other 5. That's what makes it difficult to somewhat make specialists, because without is it all right? So do you mean like a pure specialist ability, or just something that has specialization in it, but it can also have conjuration or manipulation or enhancement or
It
any of the
could
others?
be.
Whatever comes to mind, really. I think the best abilities come from like a thematic place. So, like, okay, what's the story of this character, and how do we represent that through an ability?
All right.
So, if you can kind of think along those lines, it might clue us in. What were you gonna say, Gil?
Yeah, that it could be some type of ability that has some use in the story. Like that's what I was where I was going for, thinking about it. If I were to give Kurapika like a specialist ability, it would be something like that. Like okay, like he he was born in the Kurta clan, then they got massacred, then his mission is to kill the troop. Uh, what sort of ability would
Oh.
make that interesting?
All right, I have an idea.
Mm.
I don't know if it's a specialist Nen ability, but what if he was able to, now that if I phrase it incorrectly, it won't come out right. But what if he quote unquote summons like ghosts of the Kurta clan, or like people that the Phantom Troop have, cause suffering too.
Yeah.
Like
I
like
think
Yeah,
a
that's
dead
really cool.
dead
fall
man's
into
curse. Dead man's curse.
conjuration.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that would
Right.
primarily be conjuration. But then again, I mean, like that also involves with post-mortem Nen.
Yep.
So
It's like there's like a huge gap in knowledge. Like, okay, we don't really know like all the people that the Phantom Troop have killed. We
yeah,
don't know
we,
like
we just know it's in the
Mm.
thousands.
yeah, it would just like draw on the graves of that the Phantom Troop have made. Yeah, I was also thinking along the lines of he summons like I was thinking when his Scarlet Eyes activate, he can draw from the power of the slain Kurta from his village. So I don't know. I wasn't very specific about it in my
Okay.
head. I was just thinking, okay, maybe he gains like a strength boost or something, and then the payoff is like he feels the pain that they went through when they were killed after the fact.
Oh
like,
my
and his
God,
ability
that is
deactivates.
that changes everything. Like that condition though, the pain.
Yeah,
So
it'd be
basically,
like
you would have to feel brutal, um, dismemberment, evisceration, stabbing, burning. Like Jesus Christ. Like basically, that's just. I don't know. Like that's something that you would barely use then because of just how much pain that is. Because you would feel the pain, but you wouldn't die. Would that also bring like emotional pain? Because if you think about it, uh, if you remember, the Phantom Troop brutally tortured children of the Kurta to get a brighter color out of the parents' eyes. So, also feeling that anger, that just overall hatred,
Yeah.
that can
So
definitely consume a person, even of someone of such mental fortitude. Even like surviving that once is already would be very impressive. Imagine if he had to do that 5 times. I don't know if he would be able to handle that. The human mind
so
would just
this is
fry.
yeah, you're totally right. Thinking about like how that would affect the character. I'm starting to imagine a character that's really compelling though. Like this is a really interesting take on Kurapika. Like I imagine like a really enigmatic, very. I mean, Kurapika's got ghosts in the closet, right? Like is really affected by it. But this Kurapika would be like on like the brink of insanity because of his ability. So like
Oh,
an enigmatic kind of crazy, not like unhinged yandere anime crazy, but you know, a bit more complex. You know,
so
you could do it right.
it could just be
Um,
like maybe it's like he's leaning more into letting loose of his anger for revenge.
yeah,
Like he
yeah, because that's something he expresses, right? He doesn't want to forget the rage that he felt at the very beginning. He wants to utilize that rage for killing the Phantom Troop, no matter what. So I guess I mean, thematically, well, not
well,
thematically, but to his character, it would fit that because it
yeah.
quite literally keeps the rage alive.
I
It's fresh and there.
I do not fear death. I fear only that my rage will fade over time.
Exactly. Yep. I think it fits him perfectly. I think we did we've done like successively better jobs with each character as we've like gone through the list. This Kurapika is like awesome. I love this character.
Yeah.
I'm just trying.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something else, but I just need to put my finger on it.
He
I
would.
really like the idea of like a ghost being spawned. I think that's really cool visually. You could do a lot like within Togashi's art style, I think. Anyway, sorry, I totally cut you off, Gil.
I
What were you
think
saying?
he would also think way less. That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah. So
Maybe.
I mean,
Yeah. He would get lost in his thoughts like Crawler.
Yeah.
He would get
Conj-
lost in the abyss.
conjurers tend to be more stoic, so maybe he wouldn't be as resilient to hardship.
Yeah.
Conjurers
Yeah,
are
interesting.
nervous
Let's
wrecks, right?
Um.
He would be a lot more depressed, sexy, sad boy, right?
Oh my God! Just don't spark up those types of fans. Just
Honestly, if you're a specialist, you're just like 25% more sexy. It's just like part of the category, honestly.
Instantly. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for
It's
that.
it's the charisma.
You
It
need
oozes
this
out.
big booming charisma. You need to be a silver tongue.
Okay.
Yeah, I think good. I mean, do you have any other ideas? Other
I don't know. I
thoughts?
feel like we've covered him pretty in depth. Like I would love to hear what the viewers think
Oh
about
yeah,
this. Like if they have any
yeah.
ideas for like the specifics of a specialist ability for Pika. Like maybe expanding on the ability that we did would be interesting. Would love to hear your
Hmm.
thoughts.
Yeah, that would be very
Anyway,
interesting.
let's move on to the best boy of the group,
Uh huh.
Yes,
Leorio.
man.
Uh huh. All right.
All right, roll the dice.
So, Leorio is an emitter. Let's see what he is now.
Yep.
4. He's a specialist now. Do you guys want to do specialist
a
again?
specialist.
Are you doing specialist again, or do you want to do like something different?
I don't mind.
All right. Sick.
What do you think, Gil? I'm on the fence. Like I can go either way if you guys want to re-roll it.
Yeah, I don't mind whatever. Like specialist, good.
All right, cool.
All right.
Let's just run with it.
Initial
Yeah.
thoughts on
So-
Leorio becoming a specialist now.
So Leorio as a specialist, I immediately imagine like everybody already loves him. Like they fell in love with him in the chairman election.
Oh god,
Like-
yeah.
Do you think he would lean into it and want to be the chairman? Like he would take it as an opportunity to like, okay, I'm like a natural leader. I have the charisma. I can lead these people in the way that I think is right.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I think he would.
I don't think he would do
I
that
think he would
though.
do that.
I don't think he would do that.
Okay.
Um
Uh,
I mean if he acts somewhat like an enhancer, but he is truly an emitter. He's more hot-headed, so of course he would still have charisma, but I still think that would go against his idea of becoming a leader. It would go against his whole character development of, oh, Pietro died of this illness that was totally curable, but was because of the price of the treatment, he died as a result. I don't think just him becoming a more charismatic person and a specialist will necessarily change it too much. I don't think it's enough to totally dissuade him of that goal.
Yeah.
I don't think it's dissuading him of that goal at all, though. I think like if I put myself in his shoes and he's like a person who has that charisma to lead people, I think he would see the opportunity in that position of power to make like a huge difference for the people like Pietro, like his friend. I'm not sure if that was his name. But I don't know. I just feel like he would see that as an opportunity to move towards his goal of making a difference in like the medicine world. Because hunters have heaps of influence. I feel like the way he is now, he's much more like simple-minded with his goal. Like, okay, I'm just going to become a good doctor and see what I can do as a doctor. Whereas I think a specialist take on that would be, well, I can influence like a large state of like the world that I live in. Like, okay, let me influence in a way that I want to see influenced. Like, let me make a change on the world, at a larger scale. I feel like that's more of like a specialist politician kind of way of looking at the world. So I feel like he would move in that direction personally.
Yeah, I think like if we're talking specialists, well, in my own opinion is that they kind of do their own thing, right? They're more like more lone wolves in a sense that, but they also can be with people, of course. They can specialize in that. I'm thinking of Neon, and and how she
No, I
just
think you do
does
have
her
a
thing,
point.
And for Crollo, it's also that he also does his thing. But I mean, that could be said to any any character, but I think that's a special force of the specialist, but or the character trait of the specialist. So in those
Yeah,
terms,
you're
I
right.
think Leorio, he would still be a little bit eccentric, like like he usually is. He wouldn't be, of course, as hot-headed. He would be more calm and collected. He would. What was I thinking about? I kind of lost my thought.
He would be 25% sexier.
25% sexier, indeed.
If that's even possible for Leorio.
I mean, he's already so sexy that I don't think you can fit another 25% in there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the fans would go crazy over a 25% sexier Leorio. I mean, they kind of got that in 1999, right? He had kind of that
Oh yeah,
I
he
don't
did
know, he
have
had
those
that edge to
vibes.
him, right?
Yeah.
Especially when he was talking to Kurapika over the phone, right? They really lent into that, like that. I'm a man and you're my
Yeah,
man.
bromance.
Yeah, that's really funny to think about.
Yeah,
Anyway, I don't. What do you think his ability would be as a specialist?
yeah, good
Do you
question.
still
So,
think he would be a healer? Like,
Yes. I think he would still be a
I
healer,
mean,
but that
yeah,
but
as
that
a
when that lean more
as a
into
personality, yeah.
because isn't his Nen ability so far something related to ultrasound or like something that can be used in the medical field? Because usually when we think
yeah,
of
I think
like healing abilities, we usually think of enhancement, even though it's quite rare. But with Leorio's case, he
yeah.
has created an ability that's more that fits emitter, but is still used to heal people or to help people, I should say, in a medical
Mm.
sense.
yeah,
Maybe something that allows him to just like see what is like ailing a person, like specific parts of their body pop out in a certain way to him just naturally. It's like a passive ability.
mm,
And he can kind of make accurate diagnoses with that. Like maybe that could be the first step. Just something that he has the ability over. It's like I don't know if that would fit into any of the other categories. It's kind of like it's got the magical edge that specialist abilities have. The ability to just see,
I
like a
see.
clairvoyance. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That's the
I,
direction my
I
mind is
was,
going.
yeah, yeah. I was thinking also, yeah, like maybe something specific in the like treating of maybe like scanning or how you call those?
Hmm.
How do you call those? When you scan the body, the whole
Like
body, or
a
An
whatever,
CAT
or
X-ray,
scan.
X-ray, for example. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
X-ray, ultrasound for like
Like
pregnancies, an MRI.
I was thinking, maybe his ability could be a specific, more specific to like in the medical area, something like that, or like yeah, like X-ray
I couldn't imagine that. Yeah.
or
Maybe so.
bandaging or
Maybe so. If we lean into the story of Pietro, how it's a certain type of disease, maybe relating to your idea, Koga, maybe Leorio would be able to, let's say, see things down onto like a beyond microscopic level.
no,
Maybe he
for
would be able to
example.
see individual like virus strands or whatever, which can help identify a certain disease. Maybe with that
No.
he can see a tumor much earlier than, let's say, like a
Hmm.
computer program or a scan of some sorts, which would lean
Yeah.
into his
Yeah,
medical
totally.
expertise. But then again, it would also relate to Pietro in a sense. So in that sense, he would be able to help cure most diseases because if with that he can then think of possible ways to either treat it or cure it.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. The
Yep.
visual I had in my head was You know, in those sci-fi films where, you know, like Iron Man, for instance, how they have like those big holograms that you can kind of interact with. I'm imagining like he can take a sample of like a tumor or like a cancerous flesh cell or something, and
Yeah.
he can interact with it like those holograms, and like his Nen allows for him to like zoom in and like expand like the view of it and like see like the molecular structure of it like much clearer than a microscope could, you know,
Yeah.
just like that was a visual that popped into my head, which
No, that's cool.
I don't know, yeah,
It's
it sounds interesting.
That's
it's
a good
a
idea.
very how you say like practical kind of ability, or and very
Yeah,
specific
like
also. Yeah.
it could inform him on a level that is not usually possible in like in such a quick or efficient manner. Um, yeah. Anything else you guys want to say about Leorio?
Oh, relating back to how you guys said he would be 25% sexier, maybe then he could finally get a girlfriend.
Yeah, maybe he'd just be a married man. I mean, there's only one man for
Yeah,
Leorio,
it's
though. Am I
possible.
right?
Yeah.
Now, let's not start more on the fan fiction. You're giving them too much free material, Koga. You're not helping me out here.
Leo Pika stands rise.
No, do not rise.
Um,
Please remain sitting.
All right, so we're at 46 minutes into the podcast.
Yes, we are.
We still have a little bit of time left. What if we introduce one more character?
I'm totally down to do that. Like
Sure,
a
let's
miscellaneous
do it.
character.
Not
Hisoka?
just any miscellaneous character. The fifth protagonist. You said it already, Jing. Hisoka.
Hisoka
Hisoka.
Maro. All right, then. This will be very interesting.
Let's do
Time to roll.
the dice.
Time to roll the die of fortune. Ooh. Guess what we got?
Pause champ.
Conjuration.
Oh,
We got
Oi,
three.
oi, oi. That's
he
interesting.
conjures the bungee gum.
Oh no! Don't
Bruh.
no more bungee gum. He's
Yeah.
instead of transmuting bungee
Okay,
gum,
so
he conjures bungee gum. Think of it
Yeah.
like that.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's got a very similar ability to bungee gum because he's obviously like impacted by those little things from his childhood. Maybe it's just like he conjures bubbles of bungee gum and then they pop and then they cover you in the gum and it makes you. It's super hard for
That's
you
cute.
to move. Maybe something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's an interesting idea. I actually haven't thought of that. It would be a new take on bungee gum.
Yeah, it's not super far from what he already has, but
True.
yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I
What
don't
if
know.
he was able to conjure beings made out of bungee gum?
Oh yeah, like
But
puppets.
yeah, bungee gum beasts. And where even if you kill
Yeah.
them, they'll just explode in bungee gum, which can hold you down. Meaning that you can only take them out from a distance. Like they
Yeah,
could be
that's
like
interesting.
they could be armed assailants. They could be suicide bombers. There's a lot of there's a lot of versatility in it. I would imagine.
Oh,
Like imagine if you were able to
can you?
imagine if you're able to craft conjure different types of bungee gum soldiers. Like what if you were able to make like one with a bungee gum gun, so it truly become bungee gun.
Bungee gum.
So imagine this, okay? Imagine this. Hisoka conjures a bungee gum beast. It is an armed soldier with an AR-15. It loads up a clip of bungee gum and it starts shooting you with bungee gum.
That's fantastic.
And-
I made a sound earlier, and it's because I was imagining what the Castro fight would have looked like.
my God.
Like I'm imagining, Hisoka's conjuration ability is just conjuring a second self made out of gum.
Oh my
So
god.
it retains a lot of the same stuff from the transmuter ability.
Wouldn't that also
Yeah.
involve manipulation?
Yeah, it would. But this specifically, he's not able to just use bungee gum whenever. It's only, it's fixed to this second like doll of him. So he controls this. He conjures the second Hisoka that's made out of gum, and I'm imagining like he moves a little from that magician, like performative thing to like maybe more of a dancer, like a synchronized dancer, and then he utilizes like synchronized dancing techniques or something.
Hisoka's dance from the musical.
Okay, I got
Yeah,
a
exactly.
creepy one.
Let's
What
listen.
if he conjures like circus, like super creepy circus people, clowns and stuff?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Or you know,
Yeah,
like
just bring that on out. Bring that out onto the internet in 2016. That'll be a huge phase.
or like yeah, maybe he conjures this like whole tent, you know, and then you have to play to his game or whatever, you know.
Oh, Hisoka's
Hisoka's
Funhouse.
Funhouse, yeah.
Guys, I don't think that's a tent pole. I think that's a stripper pole.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Hold up.
Hisoka just his ability is conjuring a stripper pole, and he's just a stripper.
Bruh. Are you trying to encourage these fans of his? You're actively fueling the fire.
Funny.
No.
I like that. Like he conjures a bunch of circus stuff, and yeah, maybe instead of like leaning out of his magician role, like I suggested with his dancing, he goes further into it, because now that he's able to conjure things, you know, like the classic magician, you know, he would be like a classic, you know, pull the bunny out of the hat kind of magician, and he'd have a lot more of those tricks.
Okay. What about this? Now that you mention it, what if he had something similar to Crazy Slots, right? He would have like a little hat, and then it would be that you can conjure something out of the hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah,
Like it would hold, like it would pull out like
imagine,
it could pull out like a bunny with a certain like number around its neck or whatever, and that would like maybe it'll spawn in bungee gum, or maybe it can spawn in like it could spawn it like those throwing knives from that guy that he fought in Trick Tower. Maybe it could be it could just be anything, which would be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I really like that. Like, so he's got that drive to hunt down people who are strong like him, and then maybe the people that he hunts down, it's kind of like Crawler. Like he takes something from them, and then he can like pull it out of the hat.
Yeah, that would basically be Skill Hunter though. That would be Bandit Secret in a sense, just in Hisoka style.
Sort of.
So that would be more of a specialist ability.
Yeah, maybe.
Because honestly, you have to
you're
conjure the
right.
book, but I mean, the book doesn't mean anything if there's
The
no
stealing
there's no
abilities is the
ability.
specialist part.
Yeah, so I mean, like you can conjure a book, you can say, "Oh yeah, I have this ability." It doesn't mean that you'll actually have that ability though. So
Yeah.
with conjuration,
so-
there's just infinite possibilities because Hisoka has so much experience. He can realistically, he has so much experience with bungee gum. He has so much experience with all different types of weapons. He's very proficient in many types of combat. So I think with him being able to conjure whatever he wants in a very, very broad sense, I think he could bring on lots of devastation. Whether it is more versatile than bungee gum as it is now, it depends on what he conjures. It depends on of course, the specific scenario. But I think it would be very interesting to see where that can lead.
Yeah.
How that can interact
I'm
with
imagining,
characters. Like, okay,
like,
imagine if instead of having regular bungee gum in his fight against Chrollo in Heaven's Arena, what if he was able to, let's say, go back to my example of him being able to create bungee gum Nen beasts. What if that would be able to somewhat combat I think it was it's not Order Stamp. You know, being able to, or in Black Voice, Order Stamp in Black Voice, it'd be able to
oh,
like,
wouldn't?
yeah, or
I wonder if Chrollo could stamp Hisoka's Nen and then make it his own.
it could just be,
Oh, no.
but then it could be like, oh yeah, then if it takes any type of damage from anything from Crawler, it'll just automatically explode. And then it can just shoot out bungee gum all over the place.
Yeah,
He can
that's
get like
interesting.
what it is like he can spawn like a sneaky little bungee gum Nen beast in the corner of Heaven's Arena, and he can be like a sniper. Just spawns in a buried 50 cal bungee gum gun. That would be sick. All right.
Oh man, bungee sniper, omega lol.
Bungee gun. But yes, I think that spawning in bungee gum Nen beasts would be so cool.
Would be funny.
There are so many
Yeah, I think
possibilities. Imagine
there's
this.
a lot of really fun aesthetic opportunities
Oh,
with a conjurer.
All right, this is pretty crazy. But what if he was able to make a poor man's rose out of bungee gum, where it explodes, but then
Yeah.
it has like the radius and the power of the rose, like in terms of the blast, but then it just shoots bungee gum all over the place.
Wow.
Okay, dude. I was like, I thought you were being serious. Like, I was imagining more just like a C4 bomb or
No,
something.
that's obviously a lot more realistic. But just bring out the poor man's rose.
Yeah.
We're bringing out Extremes Part 2. That's what we're gonna do. But yeah, I think
Yeah. Bungee bomb.
A warfare themed
Yes.
I
Hisoka.
like that.
We got the nukes, we got the weapons.
You know what? That's just gonna be he's good. He's
Horrifying.
gonna reveal that as his new ability on the Black Whale.
He's just gonna blow the whale.
He's on the highest floor. He's like, Crollo, you have finally found me. Let us finish what we've started. Bungee gun, bungee bomb. My
Bungee
apologies.
bomb.
Bungee gum Nenbis.
Okay.
Yes. All right.
I feel like we're kind of starting to devolve. I think we've explored Hisoka
Yeah.
pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, that was just funny.
Let's
Yo.
wrap it up.
All right.
This episode was
I
really
liked it.
fun. I appreciate your guys' input.
All right. So
yeah, that's
actually,
awesome.
I think we should do another episode like this in the future. Whether it's for
Okay.
new characters or for maybe like in the distant future, we can revisit these 5 characters and see what we think then with like different roles. Like instead of
re-roll. Oh,
yeah,
that's
like
a good idea.
instead of thinking like Hisoka as a conjurer, what if he was an emitter? What instead of Leorio being a specialist, what if he was a transmuter? If instead of Killua being an enhancer, what if he was a manipulator? I think that would just be
like
an overall fun episode. It can just some fun Nen theories and such, personality theories.
Should.
Yeah, write it down. I really like that. Let us know in the comments below if you want us to do that.
Oh yeah.
No, but seriously, leave your comments. I'd love to hear like viewer theories on characters with these new Nen categories, or if you've thought about this with like other categories, I'd love to hear that. Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.